Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
What would you say you do here?
God damn it. Bob, we love playing here tonight. My brother's ready.
It helps if you think of it as a game, Bob. Every game has a winner and a loser.
You must possess strength to inflict pain, Bob.
Oh, why does this start over every time? Now it's too funny. Welcome to the Two Bobs Cast. It is Tuesday, April 14th, 6:14 p.m. for those counting at home.
Still counting.
Still counting. Yes. Still very good one. Good one. I am Mr. H. I am here as always with my awesome colleague, my awesome partner, the Herd, giving you the horns. All right. So we are obviously an A to Z rock and metal podcast. We're going through the alphabet for the second time. We're nearing the end, which is always tough. But we had a band for V. Can you believe it? And a band that fits what we do. Who do we have for V, Herd? First of all, how are you?
Oh, I'm terrific. Thanks for asking.
It's real dark over there.
Yeah, I don't
It's like you're out of top secret.
I don't know why I'm not. I got my normal light on, and
I feel like I'm like the sun's
I don't know
off of my fluorescent white skin, but you're like in the dark. Maybe you're just really tan.
Maybe I doubt it. We
He's
live
like
in
a tanner.
We live in Northeast Ohio, so we don't see the sun for a couple more months yet.
Right.
We do. It's for 5 minutes, and then there's another thunderstorm.
It's out right now, but the power will probably be on the next hour.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. So no, man, I'm real good. Things are good.
Awesome.
Liking the time of year. Again, we're getting ready to get into summer. We got Cavs basketball. We're just talking about the playoffs,
baby.
We got the NFL draft next week, and the guards are playing pretty well. So
they are.
It's a good. Yes, we're rock and metal guys, but we're also sports guys too. So it's good that we are in full swing with sports. So
yes,
fun times ahead. But by the way, you asked. We are going to be talking today about Volbeat.
Volbeat.
We'll get into them. A little mix of a little bit of everything with this band. I can't say that I've always really liked them. There are times.
Same.
There are times where I've actually said, no, I don't like them.
Yes, same.
Where, they'll be on a lineup for a show and I was like, nope, don't really care to see them. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to go check out the food. I'm going to check out the merch. But, listening to their albums, there are some surprises, some things that I knew were decent, but they're not super consistent. But we'll get into all that here shortly. Any experience with Volbeat? Have you seen them in concert?
I have. I saw them at Rock on the Range.
Okay.
I saw them at one of the other festivals too. Maybe I saw them a couple times at Rock on the Range. I think that's it though.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen them open for somebody on like a national tour though, but I can't think of who it was. But it was, by the time I saw them, I was kind of into them, right? So It was many, albums in. So I don't think I saw them until like 2016 in there somewhere, which is the sweet spot for me where I really like them. And, they played a lot of stuff off of those albums that, that I did like. So I didn't know what to expect because of the vocal delivery. That's my biggest problem with them. And I was like, I don't know how this is going to be live, but I was really impressed. It was fantastic. I was on the field for Rock on the Range, at least the one show I remember. It was like late afternoon. They were pretty big by then. So it was like the 5 o'clock slot or something. They played for an hour 50, 65, 70 minutes, something like that. It was great. They were absolutely killer, man. They were great. I know Rob Caggiano was with them, so I know it was after 2013, but I want to say it was 2016, which is, like I said, that's where I was really kind of into them. So, but yeah, they were really good. But I have not seen them since. So you've probably seen them way more times than I have.
No, I've only seen them twice, and because I've never have paid to like see them. Like I've never been like I'm gonna go see Volbeat. But
I probably would though. Now there's times when I would, and times that I wouldn't have. Now I'm probably at the point where I probably would go see them live now if they headlined and came, with somebody. Obviously, the package would have to probably be pretty good because I'm sure it would be expensive, but I would probably go see them now. Nautica, we were just talking about the Nautica stage, man. It'd be a perfect place for them to come and play. So at this point in their career.
Yeah, I seen them. I saw them on. It was a really strange bill for them. I saw them on like a Knot Fest, which was in Pittsburgh, and I saw them. It was obviously Slipknot, and it was like really heavy. Like
bunch of heavy.
Behemoth was on there.
Oh, jeez.
Like Volbeat did not. Maybe Anthrax. I think Anthrax was on. And so it just Volbeat didn't make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know there's the Rob Caggiano effect there, but yeah. And then I seen them on a festival. I think I've only seen them twice in my entire life.
I think the same for me. I'm pretty sure it was twice.
So anyway,
what you got for Volbeat, man? Tell us about Volbeat.
Yeah, so Volbeat,
Volume Beat,
Danish rock band, formed in Copenhagen in 2001. Mostly just formed by their main singer, guitar player, main songwriter, Michael Poulsen. He is the main dude with this band, 100%. He writes probably 80 to 90% of the songs. They do a lot of cover songs, but he does write almost all the original material. He actually started off in a death metal band. Dominus is what their name was, and got, I guess, fairly big in the Denmark area. And I guess he got really sick of the death metal scene. He didn't want to do it anymore. But he then decided to pull a band together with some people that he met through Dominus, and kind of used music that him and his father always listened to. And he had this idea. It's like, why don't I start a band that is metal, like Metallica? He loved Metallica. He loved death metal bands like Death. He calls Chuck Schuldiner as one of his big playing guitar, pretty much the reason why he decided to play guitar. But then him and his father spent a lot of time listening to a lot of the rockabilly, some Elvis, some Johnny Cash, those type of things. So he decided he was going to put together this fusion of rock and roll and heavy metal and rockabilly and whatever those all together, the rockabilly groove stuff. So he formed Volbeat, and a lot of different names through Volbeat. I'm not going to touch on a lot of the names because mostly it's Michael Poulsen. John Larson is the drummer for the whole time, but those two are it from front to back. He has a few guys that he worked on the first couple albums with, and then he had another guitarist come in for the next couple albums. The big moment for him, I think, is when he joined forces with Rob Caggiano, as we talked about, from Anthrax, and he helped produce some of the records. That's where actually he started. He was just going to produce one of their albums, and then decided playing some of the leads on some of the songs, and they just hit it off between them.
Yeah, he left Anthrax because he was tired of touring and wanted to go do producing.
Yep.
In 2013, and then joined Volbeat like months later.
Yeah.
Anthrax had to be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah,
like, it's kind of weird. But when something works, it works. You know what I mean? Like, what are you gonna do?
And it did. I mean, that's
really
pretty much. I mean, maybe a little before that, but I feel like Caggiano jumped on him like right at the right time, right where he noticed something happening with this band and kind of was like, all right, well, I think I can add enough to it, and he was right. They put together some great stuff. But so 2001 they formed, and their first album released in September 26, 2005. Like I kind of mentioned before, They really didn't have any kind of breakthrough in the U.S. for another 5-6 years. These first couple albums, they hit right away in Denmark, but had nothing in the United States. So the first album, The Strength, The Sound, and the Songs, again released on September 26th, 2005. It's a really rough version of what they would become. There's not really any singles off of this album. The only thing that really they ended up playing a lot off of this live is their cover of Dusty Springfield's I Only Want to Be With You. Other than that, they have a couple songs that they've played here and there, but pretty much it's a very rough, very, I don't know, just a band trying to find their way. They hadn't really noticed, like, again, there's no other band that you can really compare this to, and that's where I think I give them a lot of credit, is because they combine that hard heavy metal riff with the vocals, which how you talked about before, I think that's kind of where they lose me at times, especially early on here, is he really is leaning more into that Elvis, like it sounds fake to me. It almost sounds,
it does.
It just sounds like he's trying to do the roll, and he always does that all the way through. But I feel like he finds a better way later to kind of mix that with his regular singing voice.
Yeah,
and
he
things
made
like that.
that his singing style.
He did.
Basically.
He did.
I mean, for better or worse, since there is better and way worse, but he basically made that his singing style, and that's probably how he learned to singing along with Elvis. And I you can just kind of see it, you know.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think again, to me early on, that's kind of the turnoff to me, is his voice. It just kind of feels bad in my ears. It sounds cheesy. It sounds a little forced. It sounds a little like, but again, he's trying to figure it out, right?
Yes, absolutely.
He knows what he wants to do, and he figures it out later. But right now, I don't know. So this album's a little bit rough for me. A few of the songs that I do like the opener, Caroline Leaving. I do like the song Pools of Booze, Booza. I think is pretty cool. Kind of catchy. I do like the Danny and Lucy 11 p.m. Caroline #1 is like part 2 of She Left, and now here's #1. And I do like the cover of Buffalo Springfield. I know I'd heard that song before, but I went back and listened to it and just kind of wanted to hear the difference, right? To hear what they did. And I really do think they made a really cool version where they kind of made it their own. So I give them credit there. Not great though. Like the production sounds kind of rough on this, again, knowing it's their first album. Just listening to it, I just kind of had in my mind, like, probably am never going to listen to this again. Not great to me. It just, the songwriting isn't very good yet. So I'll say probably like a C- on this one. And this one comes in at #8 for me. So second from the bottom. Just not a big fan of what they're doing right now. The Strength, The Sound, and the Songs, #8 for me, and about a C-. What did you think of this album? The Strength, The Sound, the Songs.
Slash.
They do that
slasher.
too. Almost like every album is
third of the albums, and other ones could have slashes, but don't. It's kind of weird. But anyway, pick a title, stick with it. How about just call it The Strength or whatever? But anyway, to me, I actually thought this sounded really good for a first album. Okay. The guitars are very forward, and the guitars sound great, and that's the most important thing for me here. And so I give credit to Jacob Hansen, and Jacob Hansen produces, at least in part, all 9 of these albums, either by himself or with Rob and Mike Polson, Rob Caggiano. So he is involved in all the production, and it gets better from here. Like, I don't know if this was his first production effort, but I think it sounds really good for a first album. It does, like I said, get better. And then it's just really consistent throughout their catalog. They always sound the same. They don't have any of those weird clunker albums where they're like, why does it sound so flat? Or what happened to the guitar? Or they all sound the same. So you know what to expect. They just kind of refined it a little bit going forward. But I like the sound on this one. The riffs on here are undeniable. I mean, this dude can write some guitar riffs, man. This guy, you could tell that he was a big fan of metal. You could tell it was Metallica. The riffs are great, but that's about all that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, how I hate his vocals at first. I'm not sure what he was going for, like we already said. I don't know if he even knew what style he really wanted to go with. That's how he learned to sing, and that was his singing voice, and he had to try to figure out how to make it work with these great crunchy heavy riffs that he was writing. And on this one, and obviously he had to grow as a songwriter. So these songs are really inconsistent. There's not a lot of choruses. There's some song. There's probably half of these songs are almost all verses, like there's hardly any choruses at all. You mentioned one, Pool, Booze, Booze, Booza. That's got a nice hooky kind of chorus to it, but not many of them do. So, and I just, man, I have real trouble getting past the vocals. Like, it's sometimes, like I described it as, this was as I was listening to it, it's sometimes like a Danish accented Elvis impersonator, sometimes Sully Erna, Godsmack, and sometimes James Hetfield. Like, he's trying to mix those three things together. He has that James Hetfield kind of, after he sings a word, that he likes to add that on. So he got that from James Hetfield. And there are songs that sound quite a bit like Godsmack here, but because of the riffs and because of, that's what was popular shortly before this album came out. So that makes sense, and he was into that. The guitar playing kind of reminds me of that and Metallica also. But yeah, he has got much better and consistent kind of finding his voice later. And I've learned to deal with the Elvishness vocal delivery and kind of got used to it because the songs became better.
Oh yeah.
And the riffs are great. But not on this album. Just the riffs are great here, but it's all over the place on this album. There's no consistency at all. And Paulson's parents were huge fans of Elvis and Jerry Lee Lewis, but he grew up liking metal, so it just makes sense that all that kind of melded together. But it just doesn't work yet for him. That Only Want to Be With You, it has 80 million listens on Spotify. Yeah. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's a lot. I think a lot of those, like you said, though, are people going back. I don't think this was like, I think it was released as a single. It was.
Yeah.
But I don't think this song was big back then. I mean, how many people does Denmark have? There are only so many people who would listen to this song, right? Yeah. So nobody knew who they were. I think people went back and found this song, and he's probably almost always played it live. And it's the only thing he's going to play off the first couple albums probably is that one. Maybe one other song, but probably just this one. So I think a lot of people maybe went back and found it. But I do like it. Like you said, I think it adds to the original. The original's it's a good song. It's a dated but good song. And this kind of updates it and sounds better. I do like it. So that's one where I'm like, okay, like I could listen to more of this. So my favorites on here are Another Day, Another Way, and Rebel Monster. I like Pool of Booze, Booze, Booza, but it is kind of cheesy at the same time, though. But it is catchy. But I like Rebel Monster a lot because that monster riff in that song is awesome. It's just awesome. And again, there's not really any skippers here. I mean, if I was going to say I was going to skip one, I'd probably have to say I was going to skip like 12 of them, right? Because they're all kind of the same,
Yeah, it is.
I just had to kind of try to block out his vocals and just listen to the guitar. And the guitar is fantastic. It really carries this album. So, but I really don't have any skippers. It's just some vocal hate on the songs, but the guitar is worth listening to. So I have this. It's funny. We're starting out already. I have this as a C+. I have this, guess where? Number 8, just like you did. So a bit inconsistent and trying to find identity, but the riffs, man. Oh, the riffs.
Yeah.
So great stuff and more really good stuff to come. But I have a C+, number 8.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have a really hard time with some of these albums, and it's not because some are good or bad. It's just rating them against each other it's challenging because
I have 3 or 4 that have the same exact rating, and I switched the order of them at least twice already.
Yeah, That's
So
fair.
I had the same problem, same
Yeah.
exact problem.
Yeah. So all
The
right.
middle stuff is just the middle stuff.
Yeah.
There's the bottom stuff and the good stuff, and the middle stuff is really all kind of the same.
Yeah.
It made it really hard to rate them.
Yep. All right. February 26, 2007, we get our second studio album, again produced by your boy Jacob Hansen. Second album we get is the Rock the Rebel
Flash,
Metal the Devil.
just pick one, man. It's so funny.
Yeah. So in this one, I really what this comes down to is the vocals still aren't great, but I feel like he's getting a little closer. The riffs are still pretty good. This is a pretty heavy album. The riffs are pretty heavy, but I don't really think the songwriting is super strong yet either. But again, that first album, it lit up in the Danish market, right? And then this album debuted at number 1 on the Danish charts in 2007. This was obviously their first album to do that, their second album. So got super popular for their region. They were really getting super popular. Mostly positive reviews. People can compare them. The only one you didn't say, Glenn Danzig, I guess, is one that his vocals were compared to. I don't know if that's necessarily.
It's almost too on the nose to compare him to Glenn Danzig, because I think Glenn Danzig's the same thing. Like he grew up liking metal, but he also loved Elvis, and it's the same exact story. It is. It's it's the same exact thing.
Yeah, it really is. And this actually, this album, the biggest problem, I think, past the vocals, I think with Volbeat, when I don't like them versus when I do, is sometimes they come across poppy, but a little cheesy in that poppiness. And sometimes and again, that's why I think where I'm going to get myself in trouble in this podcast is because some of, I think, my favorite songs are their most sing-songy choruses, like really poppy stuff. Yeah. But I think maybe the difference to me is some of it sounds just really over the top cheesy, and I don't know if it's some of the subject matter he's going for. Like, he's always trying to tell these Western stories. Yeah, he's always trying to tell this is supposedly like the start of a story of Danny and Lucy and whatever. And I guess the stories continued, through these albums. It's like spaghetti Western stuff, which I guess, again, he was very influenced by growing up with his dad, watching these type of movies.
Yeah, I think this one's kind of rooted in Prohibition.
Yes.
Though. This album in particular. Yeah, it's like a Western movie written, but in Prohibition.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yep, absolutely. So again, so all tracks here, again, written by Mike Poulsen. Again, he is the premier. He writes like all the lyrics. He's basically the main riff writer. Puts the songs together. It's basically a very one-person band. We almost got a Ghost situation here, but with more permanent members of the band. So songs I like off of this one. Not a lot stands out. Really popular off this is Sad Man's Tongue. Another one that they play a lot. It's a cool song once it gets going. That opening of that song, it's a little too twangy and weird to me. But once once the drums kick in and the riff goes, that's a sweet riff. Like
which one?
Just the chuggy Sad Man's Tongue. The chuggy riff. Yeah. I do like Mr. and Mrs. Ness. I do like The Garden's Tale. Radio Girl, again, cheesy, but it's still, I like the music in that. This album is another one I probably wouldn't come back to. It just, the songs are not strong enough for me. So this one falls just a little ahead of the debut album. I have this one at number 7. I have it right about the same as like a C to a C minus. And Mr. H, tell me why it's your number 7 album.
I will tell you exactly why it's my number 7 as well. Oh my God! Between the last podcast and this one, we can't get away from each other.
I think later on we'll
yeah, I would think so, but I don't know.
You're right.
Rock the Rebel / Metal the Devil. Again, I do really like the production. It's a little bit better than the first album, but Jacob Hansen, man, more fine work by this guy. I can see why he did all 9 of them, even when they got popular, because he I think he worked with Michael enough that he knows what Michael wants, and Michael can trust him to put down what he wants to hear, and it just works. So, um, he seems to be finding a little bit more consistent vocal delivery here and a little bit more melody, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, it's just little by little.
Yeah, little by little. The human instrument, the first track, has a bit of a long intro that doesn't feel like it kind of fits the rest of the track for me. But then at the end, it just kind of ends in what feels like mid verse. Like it was like Stephen King trying to end a novel. Like it's just what do we do at the end? I don't know. Just fade it out. Just fade it out, and it just ends. It's very strange. And then Mr. and Mrs. Ness, which is the second song, it ends kind of the same way. It just ends. And I'm like, really? That's it? Like I'm waiting for some other like guitar solo or something else, and the song just ends. Still though, oh, man, lots of great guitar work here on here. If the tracks aren't memorable and they're kind of lacking hooks that they would have later in their catalog, man, the guitar is really worth listening to. There's also some country-ish stuff on here. He starts to. This album's heavy where it's heavy, but there's also the country-ish stuff here, like Sad Man's Tongue, like you said. It's like hard rockabilly, right?
Yeah.
It's rockabilly, but it's heavier in a way. I feel like if Elvis ever wrote hard rock music, this is what it would sound like. Not only because of the vocals, but because of the way the songs kind of are structured, and it just kind of feels like Elvis songs to me, but heavier. I also feel like a lot of these songs, just like on the first album, are missing a chorus. They're just riffs and verses, and then they end. So the song structure kind of needs some work. But as we know, he'll figure that part out. And I think that's why you and I both agree we like some. Like I don't like these weird poppy songs that look like they were plucked out of the 60s, because I feel like he's trying too hard.
Yes.
But then when he becomes a better songwriter, he writes fantastic ones later that you can't get out of your head, and they sound the same. I'm like, why do I like this so much now when I didn't like it earlier? It's just a better song.
Yeah.
He just writes better songs.
Yep.
So, and I don't know if that's help from other people, if that's Caggiano's helping him, or it does seem like he writes 90% of it. So maybe he's just evolving, but I feel like that's the difference. But I totally get exactly what you were saying. Because I'm like, why didn't I like these songs earlier? But I don't. But then later I love them. So it's weird. So my favorites on here are River Queen. I have a few. Radio Girl, You Or Them. I like this Boa tune, this last song. Although I don't know, please tell me what in the world is a Bathmaster of Doom.
No clue.
I don't know what a Bathmaster of Doom is. I'm like, Bathmaster I would think would come in and redo my bathtub in my house, but Bathmaster of Doom, that's kind of scary. But again, that song, like a lot of the other ones, lacks chorus like the other tracks. But man, there's some great guitar in that song and some other ones too. So I did have it in here as kind of one that stuck out to me, but even though it's not a great song. But skippers for me are A Moment Forever, which is the 8th track. It's kind of a good fast-paced track with good guitar work, but I can't get past the verse vocal delivery. Like, what the hell is that? It's this super fast Elvis, like it's like Eminem singing like Elvis, like super fast. I'm like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Like, what is that? And then Soul Weeper 2 is not an improvement over the first version on the first album. There's a song called Soul Weeper on the first album, and it's okay. It's not skippable, but it's just all right. And then he has Soul Weeper 2 on here, and that one just didn't work for me. So it's the kind of song that I feel like I would like, but this one just kind of misses the mark. It doesn't make sense lyrically to me. I don't know what he's trying to do with this second version. Like, maybe I'd have to read the story on what the song's about, but it just doesn't work for me, this one. So I have this, again, as a C+, B-, and shocker, number 7. This kind of more of the identity we know them for today. A little bit. Just a little bit more. You can kind of hear it in there, which is what's sometimes really cool about doing these discographies, especially when you're listening to them in order, like Scorpions. I mean, there's some rough stuff, but it's cool to hear these little pieces. You're like, that's what they sound like later.
Yep.
Like you can hear them and they start putting it together. And it's just really cool how it grows like that. You know, this is another band that's just like that. But again, it's not all memorable stuff whatsoever, except for like the excellent guitar work, which helped me to like those 4 tracks quite a bit. But I'm probably not going to come back to much of this. Like he still plays Sad Man's Tongue, you know, occasionally live. So that's the one he'll play off of here, which I do like. So, you know, I like most of it. Like I don't like the beginning of it, like you said, but mostly that's the one big song up here, and that's pretty good. So, but yeah, B minus, C plus, number 7, kind of more of the same as the first one, but just slightly better. So that's where I got this one.
All right. Moving on to the third studio album, released September 1st, 2008. Guitar Gangsters.
Just
No
say
slash.
Just say slash.
Slash Cadillac Blood.
Because it's the same thing. You just
It's
put
the
and
same
in there.
thing.
It's the same thing. It's kind of funny.
I will say, right off the rip, I do have like a pretty good slash. Speaking of slashes, between the rest of their album and where we were at there, where with 7 and 8. So at 7, I do have a pretty significant slash where now almost everything else that comes up except one album, I will come back to because there's some good memorable stuff on here. This is the first one that definitely has songs that I really, really like, that I will come back and listen to a good amount of these songs. So, very successful album. Again, it reached number 1 on both the Danish and the Finnish album charts, and it actually stayed in Finland at number 1 for 35 consecutive weeks. And another interesting fact is this album reappeared on the top albums in 2014, which is 6 years later and 3 albums later. It re-showed up. And again, I think this is probably when, again, now there's still this album still not super well known. They still haven't made it to the United States. That's probably the next album where we started to see that. So again, they're still pretty hidden in Northern Europe, right? Where they really haven't gotten out. They haven't gotten any kind of radio play just in those areas. So, basically, again, platinum status within their countries of these albums. So they're very successful. They just haven't quite made it out here yet. So this album, like I said, has a lot more memorable stuff. Again, he's even taking his vocals a little bit better. But I think here is where it shows a significant improvement on the songwriting. I just, listening to this, there's just a lot more songs that stood out to me, where they were more sing-along-ish, like it was more catchy, right? From the title track, Guitar Gangsters and Cadillac Blood, I love that song. Marianne's Place is very good. I like Hallelujah Goat, a great name for a song. That song is awesome. I love the riff of that song. Maybelline I Hofteholder, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Maybe it's some kind of Danish saying, but awesome. I love that song. Still Counting ends up on their next album as well, which I think is kind of funny. It's on both of these albums. But just I knew that's one that I knew right away. I didn't know it was them, but that's the Counting All the Assholes in the Room song. It's awesome. And again, once it kicks in, awesome song. So again, a lot of really good moments here. And while this is my number 6, there's a big gap between number 7 with Rock the Devil, Metal, the whatever it is. This is a big step for them to be number 6. So those songs, or I'm sorry, those albums were C to C minus for me. This is like a B minus to a C plus. So this is where it makes the jump for me. Now they have much better stuff to come still, but this album was the first time where I was like, okay, he's finally picking up how to write these songs, these choruses, these things that you're going to remember. And I have come back to this album before. Those first 2 albums, I've never listened to in full until listening to this catalog. But this album, I have heard bits and pieces of before. So coming back and listening to the album, it flowed a lot better for me. So Guitar Gangsters and Cadillac Blood for me, again, big step in the right direction, but it is number 6, and we're looking C plus B minus. What did you think of Guitar Gangsters and Cadillac Blood?
Guitar Gangsters / Cadillac Blood. Like literally, you could go 7 albums deep with these guys, and you can put slashes in where the ands are, or slashes in between, and all of them could have just slashes in it. I mean, like he kind of didn't use it on purpose, but literally, it could just be Guitar Gangsters / Cadillac Blood. I do like this album, just like you do. There's a chasm. Now I have this. We're finally going to disagree. I have this one higher than you do. Jacob Hansen, again, I'm going to say it over and over again. Just stellar work producing this one. It just got a little better. Now he's kind of on the third album. He's kind of at the top of his production game now, and it'll stay there pretty much the rest of the way, which is great. I love that consistency that you just, no matter what, you might not like all the songs, but you know it's going to sound really good no matter what. So I do really like that. And you know, props to the you know, the consistency and the, you know, I don't even know that he stayed with them, you know, where you know that as they got more popular, you know that the record company wanted him to use different people, because they always want you to use different. They want you to use their people that they kind of have on their payroll, and good for him that he stuck with Jacob Hansen. Still some twang present here, though. Definitely that Elvis influence, you know, some of which is off-putting to me, like, I'm so lonesome I could cry. I know it's a Hank Williams cover and it's a country song, but, you know, I would hope he kind of rocked it up more. He just kind of leaves it being a country song, and it's just, I'm like, that's not what I'm signing up for here, you know. But better song structure on most of the tracks here, more hooks, more discernible choruses, you know, that don't just sound like another verse. Good stuff. He's really growing as a songwriter. More consistent than the first 2 albums for sure here. My favorites are the title track, Guitar Gangsters and Cadillac Blood. I like that one a lot. I like, where was I at here? I like Marianne's Place. I like, it's a great, like, accompanied vocal by Pernille Rosendahl of The Storm on this one. Their voices work really well together, and I think it kind of gets him out of his elvishness a little bit.
You were going to say Elvis shit.
Yeah, it kind of gets him out of his Elvisness a little bit, because he's singing along with somebody else, and it sounds really good.
Yeah,
and I didn't even. That's a song that I didn't realize that I liked until listening to it this time, and I'm like, man, why did I not listen to this song more before? Because it's a really good. Still Counting, as you said, it's a bonus track on the next album too, but it's amazing. That's a great song. And that's where I was like, okay, I can listen to these guys if they're going to write songs that sound like this.
Yeah.
I can definitely listen to these guys. Wild Rover of Hell as well. I like that one a lot too. He did get some songwriting help from other band members on this one. But Skippers, for me, I'm so lonesome I could cry. It's a little too rockabilly for my liking, although, again, I know it's a cover. A Broken Man, A Broken Man in the Yawn was really boring for me. It's called A Broken Man in the Dawn, and Making Believe is a cover. It's another cover, a Jimmy Work cover, but it's a song that I really don't care for. So that's 2 of like the last 3 songs. So this one kind of ends not really a good note for me. But I do have this as a solid B, and I had this at number 4 in the out of the 9 albums. Much more complete songs. The band has found an identity here for the most part. Still a couple odd songs here and there, but mostly enjoyable to very good and better than the first 2 albums for sure. Still trending upward from the start, but this is kind of a leap forward, like you said. There was a little step in the last 2, and then this one, quite a leap forward. And then it's not all gonna be great from here on out for me. Obviously, I still have the 9th rated album that's not one of the first 2 that I'm going to cover later.
Yep.
So there is a big clunker in here, but for the most part, the rest of these albums are all very listenable. I will come back to at least a few songs on each one, if not the whole album. So solid B, number 4 out of 9 for Guitar Gangsters / Cadillac Blood.
Well, don't worry about Slash because we get the Slash back now. So not only do we get the Slash back, we get Jacob Hansen back, and we get the well-anticipated, well-revered, finally welcome to the United States, Beyond Hell / Above Heaven. This was the first Volbeat album to chart on the Billboard 200. It was certified gold in 2016. So, again, this is the first one that really got some play. This is when I discovered them. This is when I heard them on the radio. Again, I listened to Octane and I listened to Liquid Metal. So they were getting play on that back in 2010. Again, just this opened the door for me. I absolutely love this album. I adore this album. It's heavy, and I feel like this is where he really gets a hold of the vocals. And again, I still think he improves a little bit more over time, but I think these are, up to this point, of course, are Michael's best written songs. Just right off the beginning, the Mirror and the Ripper, man, that song's awesome. It kicks. It comes in and it just beats you over the head. This band's really good at writing album openers, not counting the instrumentals on a lot of these. Their first song on a lot of these albums are awesome. Heaven Nor Hell, I think, is phenomenal. This is kind of one of his first, like, this is a formula that he really comes to a lot with Heaven Nor Hell. It's, you get a riff and then you get a real sing-songy chorus, and I think when he does it right, he just nails it. And this is one of the first examples of that. Who They Are, another great song. Fallen is more of a ballad song, but I think he nails it. I think it sounds really, really good. 7 Shots, great song. We got a little bit of Merciful Fate on here with Michael Denner. And we got the guy from Creator as well on this. So 7 Shots is great. $16 is good. Warrior's Call, that's the first song that I really heard from them. It kind of blew me away when I first heard it. I think it's a really, really good song. Skippers, for me, a lot of the second half of the album is not great for me. Evelyn, to me, having the Napalm Death vocals in there just kind of doesn't sound right to me. So that one I'm not a huge fan of. We got the Misfits cover in the back, which is okay. I mean, it kind of works because it's very comparable with Glenn Danzig and what Michael tries to do here. But first, probably 2/3 of this album I think are really, really good. Just goes along a little bit too long. We got 15 tracks here. There's way too much going on. Probably up to the first 9 songs with Warrior's Call. I think everything's pretty good. I was really, really loving this album. And again, this one goes back for me. I actually bought this one when it came out because I was really impressed by Warrior's Call, Heaven Nor Hell, and really liked a lot more of it. So yeah, I was pretty high on these guys at this time. So I really, really like this album. This one's like a B+ for me, and this is all the way up to number 2. So Beyond Hell, Above Heaven for me, number 2 in the Volbeat catalog. What did you think, sir, of Beyond Hell / Above Heaven?
Beyond Hell and Above Heaven.
Yeah.
I have another Jacob Hansen note in here. He does great work.
Yep.
I don't know if you've heard, but Jacob Hansen does great work.
You've told me.
I might have said that once.
You might have.
But the vocals and the verses on The Mirror and the Ripper. I know you like it, but the fast-paced auctioneer Elvis. Oh my God. Stop.
It doesn't bother
me.
It doesn't bother me.
It's just not for me. It's so annoying to my ear holes. Like, what is he saying? It's all garbled. And it's ridiculous. But the song itself isn't bad except for that. I just can't get past it. I'm glad he doesn't do a lot of that going forward. But the songwriting quality is so much better than it was on the first album. Evelyn, too, like you mentioned Evelyn, I feel like it's left over from Dominus, kind of like
Yeah,
it's
it
real
does. Yeah,
heavy,
it doesn't fit.
super like death metal, but it doesn't fit. I love the riff, but the vocals are a little strange for this band, and I realize he probably isn't doing a lot of them, or I don't know. I'm sure he sings some of it, maybe
Yeah, some
not.
of
I
it.
don't know. But with Mark Barney Greenway from Napalm Death, so whatever he does, I'm sure is probably the super heavy stuff, and it just doesn't fit with this band. Like, so if it was on a Dominus album, I guess that would kind of make sense. Or what was he did another death metal album later, and it was awful.
Yeah,
Later on, somewhere in the early 2020s, I want to say, but it's terrible. But it would fit on there more. But I do love the riff. Again, more great guitar on this one. Like you said, they kind of lost that country twang of the last album, which is really good. That's really good for me with this band. And I don't mind some country. It just doesn't. For me, it doesn't work. Like when he starts doing too much of that, I'm like, I don't really like it. So, but again, a more consistent album overall than like previous albums. And my favorites on this one are, like you said, Heaven Nor Hell. I like a lot. Who They Are. I love the Slayer-ish heaviness to that one. Like it's really got a Slayer riff vibe to it, like a slow, like South of Heaven Slayer, not like super thrash, Angel of Death Slayer or Rain and Blood, but the slower stuff. Oh, it's so good. And then A Warrior's Call. I absolutely love that song too. Like you said, that's a great one. And really, there's really no skippers for me. Like there's songs that are kind of out of place, like Evelyn, but I didn't really feel the need to skip anything like I did before. Like even the Mirror and the Ripper, like, okay, I hate these verses, but then it kind of gets to the chorus. I'm like, all right. And the riff's really good. And the guitar, the song structure is really good. Otherwise I just don't like that fast pace. I just don't like that Elvis, auctioneer thing he's got going on there. So, but I also feel like I like the songs, like the highs aren't as high for this album as they are in the previous album. I like the songs that I really like more on the previous album than this one. So I have this one again, it's B minus. I have this at number 6.
Okay.
This is one of those ones that I was telling you. I have like 3 or maybe even 4 B/B minuses, and I was shuffling them around. This one I originally had at 5, and then as I was listening later, I'm like, I think I like this one a little bit more. Like it's so hard, it's so razor thin between these. So I have this one in the 4, 5, 6 range, 4, 5, 6, 7 range, but this one I have at number 6. So it's just like I said, not quite as high, but overall, more consistent album. And I do like that. No real skippers, which is good. And like I said, the country twang's kind of gone, which it'll be back here and there, but for the most part, there's not as much of it. So that's good. So anyway, number 6 and B minus for me on Beyond Hell Above Heaven.
This is playing out how I thought it would, to be honest with you. I guessed which ones that your favorites were going to be, so we'll see what happens here down the pike. April 5th, 2013, add Rob Caggiano, as we had mentioned earlier. He joins the band here, again, first as producer alongside Mike and Jacob Hansen. He was just going to come in and produce the album, and then then led to playing some lead guitar, and then became a member of the band. So again, just add him in there to go with everything. And I think this is just the perfect recipe for success for me. This album was one of the songs. I was going to say, I know this was nominated for a Grammy, but it looks like just one of the songs for Best Metal Performance.
Room 24.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
With the great King Diamond.
King Diamond, fellow Danish.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. This album blew my mind when it came out. I remember me and our buddy Hendo just both listened to it like as the songs were released, and we absolutely were completely obsessed with this band at this point. So absolutely love this album. I think for me it does everything that I want this band to do. You got the perfect mix of the riffs here. You have perfect as far as the hooks, there's a lot of humongous hooks on this album. It's not a perfect album, but I think even for it being 14 songs, I think most of it is really, really good. Some of my favorites on here, without naming every single one of them.
Right.
I do like the nameless one. Dead But Rising is great. I like the sing-songy of The Cape of Our Hero. We mentioned Room 24, of course, with King Diamond, which is awesome. Lola Montez is probably their biggest song. They definitely will play that live at every single show. Very catchy, like insane catchy verse there. He really, I think with Lola Montez, I feel like he discovered something with himself that now going forward, he's going to use this kind of as his main chorus delivery.
I feel like that's what he was building towards. That
Yes.
song in particular is what he was building towards this whole time. He's got the heavier stuff, he had the more poppy stuff, and he kept trying to fit it together. And that song, boom, just put it together. And then, obviously he can't keep replicating that, but that I feel like that's what he was building for. Like he finally did it.
Yeah.
In album 4, 5.
Yeah.
He finally did it.
Yeah. And I agree with you. It just feels like a pinnacle moment for him. It's almost like the perfect Volbeat song. I think it's like the formula.
Kind of defines them, right?
Yep. Absolutely. My actual favorite song on this record, kind of hidden here at the back, is Doc Holliday. And it starts off real country, like real stupid. Like I'm like, and I'm like, oh. But
I almost want to skip it. When it first starts, I'm like, oh, God.
I know. It's exactly right. And honestly, when I first got this album, I don't even remember that song at first because, again, the beginning of the song is just so bad. But then once it kicks into the main riff, it is so good. I love this song once it gets going.
Yes.
But it's a 6-minute song, and we could cut out the first minute and a half, which is bad. Like really not my thing.
4:15.
4:15. Yeah, right into the like they have these insane metal riffs in so many of their songs. So awesome. Again, not everything perfect here. I'm not a fan of their cover of this Young the Giant song, the My Body. Don't like that song. I'm not a huge fan of the Lonesome Rider song with the girl in it. I don't like it that much. Other than that, though, it's a pretty dang good album. It's my number 1 Volbeat album, and to me, it's not even close. This is an A album. Their only real solid A album for me. They have a lot of B range material, in my opinion, which is great. I mean, that's a lot of really good albums to listen to. But I think this one for me stands really above. Just everything is again, they've found it, and to me, this is the most from front to back. Most solid, most impressive riffs, choruses. I think they found the great formula here. And I personally don't think they've ever fully duplicated that. At times they do. I think there are songs that are absolutely incredible to me going forward. But they're like every album now going forward, I could probably call out 3, 4, 5 amazing songs. And I just feel like they get too experimental at times in a lot of their stuff. But this one is just, to me, it's pure metal in the perfect sweet spot with those vocals where he just sounds familiar or sounds phenomenal to me. So number 1, Outlaw Gentlemen and Shady Ladies, and an A album for me. What do you think of Outlaw Gentlemen and Lady Shadies? Lady Lade Shades.
Oh, man. Production is so consistent with these guys, so that's all I'll say.
What did you think of Jacob Hansen?
I won't say his name. I'm not going to say his name. But the production is so consistent. They know what works for them, and they just keep repeating it album after album. They really find their songwriting groove here, as you already mentioned. There's so many hits on this one. The only real different note that I had versus what you said, like I totally agree with everything you said. I have it ranked the same as you. I have the letter grades exactly the same as you. Everything's the same. The one thing that hit me is this is very similar to Black Album era Metallica, though. The riffs, the guitar tone, some of the westernish feel on some of the tracks, like the Unforgiven, like that kind of stuff. That kind of shows up here too. This is where I really hear the Metallica comparisons that people always use. Like even before I had heard of this band, like I had a cousin, my cousin Rick, shout out to him, but he was like, man, have you heard this Volbeat band? And I'm like, yeah, I've kind of heard of them. I don't really like kind of I was still in the, like, I don't really like the Elvis-ish thing, and this is before this album came out, but he's like, man, dude, they sound just like Metallica. And I'm like, I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing it. Like the album's up to this one, but on this one, I'm like, okay, now I hear what people were talking about. So, but it took me a while to get there, but that's really the only thing that I had different. My favorites are a little bit different than yours, but not much. Pearl Heart, I like a lot. Dead But Rising, I like a lot. Room 24 is outstanding, dude. King Diamond, like, oh, it's so good. And, maybe because we don't have to hear Michael sing all the time. No, he does a lot better here.
He does, yeah.
Hangman's Body Count, I like a lot. Lola Montez, like I said, like you said, when you hear that song, you can't get it out of your head. Like it's so good, and it kind of got overplayed, I guess. But this band never really got that big where you had to hear this on the radio every 5 minutes. Like you heard it too much, but not way too much, So it never really got that old to me. And even like listening to it this time, I still like listening to it. It's just such a great song. Two for me buried later in here. You already mentioned one of them, Doc Holliday. I love Doc Holliday, and The Sinner Is You. I like The Sinner Is You, the one right before that. I like that one a lot too. There are no skippers on here. I'm kind of with you. Just borderline skippers, I guess. Like I put it as like I had this as an A, number one. I really like this album a lot. There's so many good songs on here, but I don't love them all. That's why this isn't an A plus, because there's those couple songs, Lonesome Rider and My Body you mentioned.
Yep.
I don't love those songs. I don't hate them. I don't skip them, but I don't really like them that much, So that's what keeps it from being an A plus. So I have this A number one, and you pretty much nailed all the highlights on this one. It's the pinnacle of their career. And I have another album that's close to this one, but it's really not that close.
Yeah.
It's a couple spots down, but it's very similar, and that's why I like that one too. Like to me, they wrote two really good albums. One of them is quite a bit better than the other one, but they wrote two really good albums. The rest of the stuff, like you said, there's a lot of just good. There's a lot of stuff in there that I could listen to. I don't need to skip songs. It's fine. The songs just aren't that memorable, but on these two albums, there are a ton of songs that I remember all the time. And I'm like, yep, love this one. Yep, love this one too. Every time I hear it. So, but this one, A, and pretty easy number one for me too, just like you.
Awesome. All right, let's go to the sixth studio album, released June 3rd, 2016, and maybe might be a controversial take. This one was very disappointing to me. This is when the band took a nosedive for me, and as far as I was concerned, I was done with these guys, and it was very disappointing to me because I was I just raved about Outlaw Gentlemen, right? I thought that album was genius. I thought it was really, really good. This album for me, it misses the edge for me. Now, it has great moments. I think this album has really great moments. But to me, consistently, I don't like the direction they went with this one. There's a lot of songs in the middle here that it feel like a lot of filler to me, that they're just not as well-written songs. Again, in my opinion, I think a lot of people like this album. It was pretty big for a lot of people. But for me, I just wasn't hearing it, and I don't quite understand the popularity for it. There are some really good songs in here. I think the opener, The Devil's Bleeding Crown, I think is phenomenal. I like the second one. I let Marie Laveau. I think that's a cool song. I also like For Evict, pretty cool song. And I like Black Rose. Seal the Deal is the gem of this album. That riff is just brutal. I wish there was more stuff like this on this album. More blistering riffs like that. I love that chorus. Everything about that song is phenomenal. Other than those songs that I've named, the rest of this album is just really forgettable to me. I just don't like a whole lot else on it. The basically every like Rebound. It's a strange cover, I think. Mary Jane Kelly, Goodbye Forever, Battleship Chains, another cover. You Will Know, the LOA's Crossroad. Like none of these songs really hit me. And again, I bought this album. I was really excited. Like you can imagine that the like through the roof. Like, and maybe that's why. Maybe to me, it's why it doesn't live up. Is I was just a little bit disappointed. Skippers, no, it's not a bad album. Like again, I kind of tearing it down to where I expected a lot more than I got on this. It's still good. It's still got great moments on it. There's still moments where you look at it and it's like, all right, they're kind of following the next step, but I feel like they're also being a little bit more, I guess they're trying to find new things. They're trying to be creative in the way that they write songs. And I think it really nosedives here after this album specifically. Kind of a hint to where I'm going after this, but this album to me it did not really live up to what I wanted. Still number 5 for me. I mean, it's not bad. I don't have it really low on the list, but to me, again, it just for the last one being a number 1 and being an A, for this one to me, it's just a B to a B minus. Number 5, Seal the Deal and Let's Boogie. Again, I think I was just expecting something different. Didn't quite get it, and I never really fell in love with this album. What did you think of Seal the Deal and Let's Boogie?
Seal the Deal / Let's Boogie.
Right.
This one, to me, it's pretty similar to the last album. So, if the way I think of it is the last album was the peak, and then there's this side of the Volbeat mountain that has a cliff on it, right? So the cliff is still way up there.
Yeah.
This one is on the edge of the cliff. So there are some changes here, like you said. It is quite similar to the last album, a bunch more radio-friendly hits, so still some great guitar riffs, but not as heavy as the first album anymore. Black Rose, I wanted to mention in particular, like Rebound also, but Rebound is a cover. But Rebound, which would also fit on a Green Day or Offspring album, it's kind of got that kind of feel to it. But again, that's not Volbeat. But right. I don't mind the song. It's okay. But Black Rose is like a 2010 hard rock song that just as easily could have been released and fit in like 1960.
Yeah.
It just kind of shows that some great songs, Lola Montez, some great songs are just timeless, even though they're somewhat formulaic, right? Like this sounds similar to, a song that I could have picked out of the 60s, but it's not. It came out in the 2010s. It has like a newness to it, but it's still just a great song, So that's one that I picked out for sure. But this one, it kind of all starts to sound the same to me.
Yep.
There, and maybe that came from the popularity before. There's no Room 24 on this album. There's no Doc Holliday on this album. The heaviness is kind of gone.
Yeah.
Right? It's replaced with all radio-friendly songs for the masses, kind of, And it's still good because he still is doing a good job writing songs, but it's just not as much to my liking. Now, Seal the Deal, as you mentioned, picks it up a little bit. Like, that's heavier, but that's song 10.
Yeah.
Like, until then, it's all kind of, there's good songs in there, but it's kind of lost the metal's kind of gone out of it, And the next album, like you said, now that's the one that fell off the cliff. Like that one, he tried to do all this kind of weird 80s pop, all this stuff like radio friendly, and it doesn't work at all. But on this one, it still kind of does. There's still some really great songs here. Like, The Devil's Bleeding Crown, you mentioned, it sounds like it just came right off the last album. Like, It just went from that track to this track, and it's a different album, but you wouldn't even know that the album changed. It sounds just like the last album. Marie Laveau, you mentioned that you liked. I like that one too. Let It Burn, I like a lot. Black Rose, I like a lot, and Seal the Deal. Now, again, with this one, there's not really any skippers for me here, but I definitely hear what you're saying. about, that it's kind of losing you. Like, it starts to lose me too, but for me, the songwriting is still so good and the songs are memorable enough. It's still kind of on the edge of that cliff there. But yeah, this one, it's starting to go downhill pretty quickly. So I kind of have this one as a B plus, kind of A minus, because I do still really like it. I do have this at number 2, but it obviously is not quite up to the last album, even though it's still really good for me. It's missing those really other great metal songs that aren't here.
Right.
Like Battleship Chains. Like, I know that's a cover too, but dude, it's so damn catchy, right? Like, what a hook in there. Like, I I listened to the song, and like Kelly and I went to the store, and I'm still singing this chorus, and she's like, "Would you see?" I could tell she didn't say it, but I could read her mind. She's like, "Would you just stop already?"
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't stop humming and singing the stupid chorus, but it fits with kind of what they do, and it's, I don't know, it's just catchy. Again, I didn't even list it as one of my favorites, but because it really isn't a great song. I mean, it is in that it's catchy, but it's not really that great. So it's kind of dumb, but it was so catchy. I couldn't quite get it out of my head, but A minus, B plus, probably more in a B plus range. Like, it's slightly better than a lot of these other B minuses that I have, but not a whole lot better. It's just better because I like more songs on it, and it reminds me of the greatness of the last album. So
Yeah.
it just didn't fall quite as far for me, but I get what you're saying. So number 2, A minus for Seal the Deal / Let's Boogie.
Well, let's go to the 7th album, August 2nd, 2019.
Let's burn through this one quick.
Yeah, no kidding. Rewind, replay, rebound. I'm really glad that we're already in agreement with
Let's
this.
Let's not anything with this album.
Yeah, so this is when this band completely lost me. I have no idea what they were thinking when they did this album. To me, it doesn't make sense. It's not them in any way, shape, or form. Just The Last Day Under the Sun, Pelvis on Fire. Like, this isn't good stuff. Like,
No.
I remember there's a few of these songs that they played when I saw them opening for Slipknot, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this doesn't fit. There's really not much of anything. Parasite, Leviathan at 10 and 11 are okay, but to even get there, you have to get through so much stuff. This album is just it's pop. It's like poppy. They lean more in the poppy, and they don't have a lot of great riffs here, if hardly any riffs. No. Sometimes, like the awesome riffs.
2.
Yeah, like 2 riffs. It just, yeah. This was baffling to me. And again, this is what I talked about at the beginning of the podcast, where I said that this band it has some serious ebbs and flows, where I hadn't heard of them at the beginning. Then they hit, and I was like, wow, these couple albums up here are awesome. And then they hit rock bottom here. Like, when this came out, this is when I didn't care to go see them. I think they played with Ghost, and I didn't go because I did not like Volbeat that much, where I'm not going to go see this show. Yeah, I don't really feel like I should spend any more time on this. Rewind, replay, rebound, number 9. It's a D, and I just don't like it. Like, this is not my style of music. Pass. Full pass. Mr. H, sounds like you're right with me here. Rewind,
yes, sir.
Replay, rebound. What you got?
Ditto. The greatest thing about this album is it came out right before COVID, so they couldn't tour much.
Yeah.
Greatest thing about this album. Again, like you said, not sure what went wrong here. After 2 really good albums, in my opinion, they seem to soften their style quite a bit to where they just don't sound like themselves, which is almost exactly what you said. There's some 80s pop stuff in here. Yeah. Last Day Under the Sun, Rewind the Exit, 724. Some weird surf rock, Sorry Sack of Bones.
Yep.
Cloud 9 could be a Christopher Cross song. Like, yes. I swear, I'm like,
yep.
What is going on here? Like, I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone or something, like what's happening? They almost completely lost the heaviness, any heaviness that they had at all. Even a song with Gary Holt from Exodus isn't heavy.
Right.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
What are we doing? Cheapside Sloggers featuring Gary Holt. I'm like, where was Gary Holt in there? I didn't hear him. What was going on there? I mean, unbelievable. Great thrash guitar player. The song isn't heavy at all. I don't know what are we doing. This album is not good for me at all, and it's not really worth reviewing any further. Favorites for me, if I had to pick one, I guess it would be Die to Live. That's one of the ones that has a heavy guitar riff on it. It happens to be the fourth song. It's got like some heavy guitar in it. Even that one isn't that great. Maybe The Everlasting or parts of it. Maybe. I don't know. This album is yuck for me. Skipper's Last Day Under the Sun, weird track. Not sure what they were going for besides radio hit, I guess. Decent solo, though. The only time there's guitar on here that I like, it's a solo, like later in the song. I'm like, what? Where did that come from? Like, there's no riff in the whole song, really. And then there's a guitar solo. I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. But that's it. It's like 27 seconds of the whole song, and the rest of it sucks.
Yeah.
Elvis on Fire is weird rockabilly, way worse than they'd ever done before. When We Were Kids, Maybe I Believe, is this Taylor Swift? Like, Maybe I Believe seriously sounds like a Taylor Swift song with a little bit heavier guitar than she would play, but it's a Taylor Swift song. There's like these ohs in there, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So D for me, easily. Number 9, not really even close. I mean, I have the first two albums at 8 and 7, but they're miles ahead of this.
Yep.
This is total garbage. It's almost all skippable for me, besides maybe 2 songs, maybe. It's almost completely forgettable. I will never come back to this album for anything ever the rest of my life. Never. I will never listen to this album again.
Never.
I'll tell you that right now. No growing on me, nothing. Never
Nope.
again. I will never listen to this album again. That's it.
All right. And Rewind, Replay, Rebound almost made me miss a gem, in my opinion, of the 8th studio album by Volbeat, released on December 3rd, 2021. What did they do? They must have got a kick in the ass from that awful album and decided, you know what we should probably do is go ahead and play guitar again, and make some metal songs. And that's what they did here with Servant of the Mind, again, produced by Jacob Hansen and Michael Poulsen. This will be the last album that Rob Caggiano is on. He will leave the band after this, but I'm glad he was able to kind of redeem himself with some actual solos and some actual awesome guitar parts with this album. And again, I almost skipped it. I almost didn't even listen to this. Luckily, I did hear a few moments of it. I heard Shotgun Blues probably on Octane or whatever. And I was like, okay, you know what? That's Volbeat, and that's a song with guitar in it. So I don't remember what it was, but it pulled me back into this album, and I'm really, really glad that I did. This is a really, really good album. Not perfect. Again, not everything on here is really, really good. But when he gets his guitar playing, like the riff of Temple of Akur is awesome, so good, and that chorus is so it turned into one of my favorite Volbeat songs. It's in the top. Wait a Minute, My Girl is not my thing, but it's okay. It's just, again, it's not really my thing. Shotgun Blues is great. Devil Rages On, Say No More. There's some good stuff here for sure. Becoming. That opening riff it's almost like a thrash metal song into whatever. It turns into more of a sing-songy, chorusy song with their driving riffs. But man, there's some really, really good stuff here. Again, not perfect, but I think when this hits, when they stick more of the metal stuff, I think it really stands out to me. Again, big jump. I was ready to give up on this band, and now, to your point, I think if they came now, I think I would see them because they have kind of redeemed themselves. I don't know what they tried to do with the last one, but with this album, again, not really anything that I would skip. Wait a Minute, My Girl is not my thing, but it's only 2 minutes, so I just let it play to get to the next songs. Not horrible, but this one's number 3 for me. It really, really impressed me. I was glad that they learned from their mistakes and they pulled out their guitars and were like, let's just write riffs again. And they did it. And I think Michael Poulsen, again, while never sounds great, I think this is as good as he's going to sound. Production is great. It's well recorded. It well sounded. And I just love the guitar on this. So number 3, B to a B plus for me. Really close to Beyond Hell, Above Heaven for me. I would almost flip these two and almost put this one number 2. Just a really, really big fan of what they came back with here. So what did you think of Servant of the Mind?
Same. Like no slash needed here, right? Maybe as they got rid of the slash titles.
That was what they needed.
Because rewind, replay, rebound again could be 3 slashes and 2 slashes in there. So Servant of the Mind, Temple of a Cure, like you said, is a great riff. To me, it's mostly good, but I don't feel like that's still kind of up to the level of where they were once at. Although I do like the song, and it's one of my favorites on this album. But it's just it's like a half a notch below some of the really great stuff they wrote earlier. But I do still really like it, and oh, thank goodness for that riff. Wait a Minute, My Girl. It feels like they were trying to recreate like a past popular song or two, except it's just not as good. But it definitely doesn't fit with like the kind of return to heaviness. It's a very poppy kind of song, but it's not. Again, it's short. It's not terrible like the last album. Like you can still listen to it. And you can see what they're going for. It's just not nearly as good as some of those other songs, So it's kind of one of those poppy ones that missed the mark for me, but it's not terrible. Again, this was written during COVID because they really didn't have anything else to do, they said. And like I said, that is the saving grace of the last album, is they really couldn't tour much for that one. So they just went back to the drawing board and wrote this one. And I guess the other saving grace for that one is it must not have been done very well for them to completely go back to what they used to do. Thank goodness for that.
Yep.
Finally, some real heavy here with Sacred Stones, the third song. I feel like it was only one album, but that last album was long and it was bad. So it felt like an album and a half by the time I finally got some more real heaviness, I had hoped they still had it in them, and then I wasn't disappointed. I love Sacred Stones a lot. And the Shotgun Blues. After just like you, after the previous album, it took me a while to really give this one a listen, a really good listen, a proper, let me listen to the whole thing. Cause I was just like, yeah, I don't know if I could stomach another Volbeat album after that last one, because it just fell off such a cliff. My favorites are, Temple of a Cure, like you said, Sacred Stones, finally, heaviness. Shotgun Blues is a great song. I like Say No More a lot, and also Becoming, like you mentioned. Skippers, none, thankfully, after the last album full of skippers. I had no real skippers on this one. This one I have as a B plus, and I have it at number 3, just like you do. Some really good songs here. Nothing to really skip, which is how I like my Volbeat. A few songs, Wait a Minute, My Girl, Doggin' for, keep this from being rated a little higher, but it's still pretty solid, and I'm not skipping even those songs. So B plus, number 3 for me for Servant of the Mind.
All right. Let's round this out.
Round it.
9th and most current studio album, June 6th, 2025. Again, I know, shocker, produced by Michael Poulsen.
What?
And Jacob Hansen.
Jacob something?
Yeah.
Jacoby Shattuck? No?
Yeah. Nope. Jacob Hansen. So we got God of Angels Trust.
I always want to call it God of Angels and Trust. I don't know why. Even when I wrote the title in my notes, I put
doesn't
and
look
Trust,
right.
and I'm like, what? And I took it out. I'm like, I thought it was and.
Yeah. Not as heavy as Servant of the Mind, but I can appreciate this album. I think it's pretty good. I think it's more hard rock now. There's still moments in here I think that is more metal, but I just really feel like this is a good sweet spot. I think where they're at now, if they just continue to ride this out, I would be fine with that. There's a lot of good stuff here. The lead single, By a Monster's Hand, is solid. The opener, Devils Are Awake, I think is phenomenal. Acid Rain is a little weird for me. They just every album, I feel like they have these moments where I don't know what they're doing. But this is Demonic Depression is a great song. The In the Barn of the Goat Giving Birth to Satan's Spawn in a Dying World of Doom.
What is this, Rob Zombie? That's a Rob Zombie title.
I know. It is. Song's okay. That title is wild. And then we got a ballady, Time Will Heal, and I actually don't mind it. It's decent. It's not one of their greatest songs, but I tell you what, like he adjusts his voice that I could deal with a more ballady song now like that. I don't think I could have done that 10 years ago. I don't know that he would have been able to pull that off. But it's a cool, catchy song. I like it. It's pretty cool. And again, this is a 10 song album. I feel like
Finally.
it's right to the point. It's
Finally.
It's
Yeah, that's what I was
44
thinking.
minutes. So everything to me, I think they're in a good spot. Like I feel like that's where I'm at with this catalog of all the ups and downs. Like it doesn't have to be as good as Shady Outlaw Gentlemen and Shady Ladies to me. Like now, I'm happy that they are at this point and they're not doing like let's write something strange like rewind, replay, and whatever. To me it's I like this spot. Like these are solid songs that I want to listen to this album again. It's not classic for me. I don't love all these songs, and there's some filler in here, but I think Devils Are Awake, By a Monster's Hand, Demonic Depression, and Time Will Heal. I think those are really, really great, solid songs. So to me, this slides right behind Servant of the Mind. I think it's number 4. I like it. It's a good middle of the pack album. I'll come back to it. It might grow on me a little bit more, but I like where they're at as a band. So mission accomplished for me because I was done with them. And then now I feel pretty good to where, like you said, I'll go by, if they come in concert, like Jacob's Pavilion, like we said, I'll go because they got enough of a catalog now that, I like some new stuff. I like some older stuff. I like a little bit of everything mixed in between. So God of Angels Trust, number 4 for me, and right about a solid B, but I like it. What did you think of God of Angels Trust?
Yeah, it's this is one of those things where you're gonna see them now. You're gonna like every song probably that they play in the set list, and they have enough songs where they're not gonna play some songs that you wish you heard,
Right?
Even headlining. So that's why I think it's worth it. With these last 2 albums, it really makes it worth it to go see them. It's not just the 3 albums and like, all right, well, unless they play almost the whole thing, I don't think I really want to see it because I don't want to see much of the other stuff. But now they got these 2 to pull from, and yeah, you're gonna like all 12 to 15 songs, and you're gonna wish they played 3 or 4 more.
Right.
So I'm totally on board, just like you said. There's some killer guitar riffs in here. Yeah, maybe not quite as much as Servant of the Mind, but still some really, really good guitar. I mean, some of it is so good.
Yeah.
Some of it lose me with the vocal delivery or the chorus or something else, but man, some of these metal riffs are crushing. Like, so good. Maybe I even put a note in here, like, sometimes I think maybe I'd even like this band more as an instrumental.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe, yeah.
Just Michael Paulson in the band, but just not singing. Just all instrumental. I'm like, I wonder what that would sound like. But it was just a thought I had while I was listening to this album, which tells you that I think that was during Acid Rain, which, like you said, I'm like, I don't really care for that one all that much. I didn't really skip it, but my mind started to wander.
Yeah.
Also, this album looks like it has the fewest listens of any album on Spotify, except maybe the first album. But like, I Only Want to Be With You has 80 million listens. This one, there's songs at the end. Like, well, I'll get to that in a second. But like I'll just do it now. The last 4 songs for me on this album, 4 songs: Better Be Fueled Than Tamed, At the End of the Sirens, Lonely Fields, and Enlighten the Disorder, which is By a Monster's Hand Part 2. They're all super solid songs, and they didn't get hardly any play at all. They're like they're 4 of the least played songs in their whole catalog.
Yeah.
Even their first album, like, which is shocking to me. But it has only been out for 9 months, 10 months now. So there's that too. But I'm just kind of shocked by that. Like, there's some really, really good stuff in here. And this is where I told you that I had a lot of B minuses, and I switched them around. Like, at first, I listened to this album, and granted, I did not give this one the chance and the number of listens that it may need to really like it. I still think that I haven't listened to this album enough, but I listened to it once and I put it at 7. I listened to it again, I moved it up to 5 because I'm like, this album is really good. It doesn't have a lot of the filler of the other ones. Like you said, it's only 10 songs, which I'm like, thank you. Finally, an album that's not over an hour. It's 44 minutes. It kind of just gets to the point. Do I love all the songs? No, but it's just it's to the point, and I really like a lot of it. So the guitar is back, in a big way. And like I said, those last 4 tracks are really solid. I didn't really care for Time Will Heal all that much, but it just picked up so much after that I was like, wow, I kind of like that. I didn't want to name every song as a favorite, but I'm like, boy, I like this one. And then the next one, I'm like, kind of like this one too. So I only picked one of the 4. But my favorites on here are By a Monster's Hand. Good solo work too. Great solo work. Reminds me of Testament.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Alex Skolnick-ness in the solo, even though it's not like a total thrashy song, but the solo work, I was like, man, this sounds just like Testament, who, we just saw pretty recently. So Demonic Depression, like you said, that one's a heavy one. And then at the end of the Sirens is probably the one I liked slightly more than the other 4 at the end, but all 4 of those songs are good. Skipper's none really, other than the beginning of the Goat song. Like I'm not going to do the whole time, but the beginning's awful. But it picks up, and the rest of it's pretty good.
Yep.
But the beginning of it, I was like, oh, no, I'm going to have to skip this one. Because it goes on for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, then it picks up. But I have this as a solid B, number 5. It's heavy in kind of the same vein as Servant of the Mind. The songs aren't quite as memorable, but again, I feel like that's probably because I haven't listened to this enough. I will come back and listen to this album more now that I have really given it a proper 2 listens. I'm like, okay, I kind of like this one. And I feel like this one, like you said, I feel like this one could move up to like a number 4, maybe even a number 3 for me also, because it could be that good. And we talked right before we started the podcast about how there are bands where if you like what they do, and this is what you said, I'm gonna give you credit for this. This when there's a band that you kind of like what they do, if you listen to them, if you listen to their albums enough, and there's not weird funkiness going on with them like Regurgitate earlier, that if you listen to them enough, you're probably gonna like it more and more. It's gonna continue to grow on you, and I feel like that's gonna happen with this album. So it's so weird that you said that right before we started the podcast, and then the last note that I wrote here was I haven't given this one the chance, a number of listens. I may need to really like it. That's exactly what you said. So, and I'm kind of pumped, and I'm also kind of sad that this one is only like 10 months old, because I'm kind of looking forward to the next one already. So I hope they don't wait another 4 years. I hope they put out one in the next, next year or 2. That kind of builds upon this, because like I said, I think the more I listen to this one, the more I'm really going to like it. So I have this one right in the middle of their catalog at number 5 as a B. Really solid stuff here that I think I'll like more once I listen more.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, partner, my 9 to 1. Number 9. Ugh. Rewind, Replay, Rebound is the one that's just really bad. I'm glad we agree there. That would be awkward if it wasn't. Number 8. Number 8, we agree. The Strength, the Sound, the Songs. Number 7, we agree. Rock the Rebel, Metal the Devil. Number 6 for me is Guitar Gangsters and Cadillac Blood. I did mention, though, that there is a gap there. I do like Guitar Gangsters a lot more than I like Rock the Rebel. But that just shows where that's at. Number 5, Seal the Deal and Let's Boogie. Number 4, God of Angels Trust. Number 3, Servant of the Mind. Number 2, Beyond Hell, Above Heaven. And number 1, Outlaw Gentlemen and Shady Ladies. And you, sir, 9 to 1.
All right. Yeah, I think we agree on like 4 of these.
Yeah.
So number 9 for me, Regurgitation.
Yep.
Terrible. The Strength, the Sound, the Songs. And just so you know, in my overall rankings, I put slashes in all of the albums that should have slashes.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Man, Rock the Rebel, Metal the Devil. Number 7, Beyond Hell, Above Heaven. Number 6, 5, God of Angels Trust. Again, that was 7, and then I had Beyond Hell, Above Heaven as 5, and I moved it up a couple spots, and I think it could even go higher. Guitar Gangsters, Cadillac Blood, number 4. Servant of the Mind, number 3. Number 2 for me was Seal the Deal and Let's Heavy Metal Boogie, and number 1, Outlaw Gentlemen, Shady Ladies, and that's pretty easily the number 1 album for me from Volbeat.
Oh yeah. All right, partner.
All right, wrap it
on the V's. So looks like we will probably be taking a week off next week.
Yep.
Mr. H has a little bit of traveling to do.
Too much traveling.
Yeah. So
But yeah, I just want to have time to listen to our W band. I just want to have the time to properly listen. And was that Tungsten? I think is on the periodic table. Is that W Tungsten?
I don't know.
Anyway,
when you do that though, it makes it look like it's Weezer, which we're not doing. We're not doing Weezer.
Sorry.
We are revisiting our buddy Mr. Coverdale in Whitesnake. So we'll be doing Whitesnake probably 2 weeks from tonight.
Yep, that's my guess as well.
So we'll be aiming for that. So
thank you, all these commenters. It was brilliant to have you all in here following along. Oh, that's right. There's nobody in there.
I'm shocked. I figured everybody would be like, Brian and Tyler and Johnny. No.
Jonathan. Yeah, I feel like it's partly my fault more than yours. It's we've been kind of inconsistent in being out every week, so we hope to rectify that. But stuff's going on down south with my dad, so the only thing I can do is take PTO days and go down there, which is just a ton of driving, and it's just not time. Kelly doesn't like a lot of this stuff. I'm not going to force her to listen to 9 albums of the same band like I'm going to, So,
right.
We got to break it up. So I just can't do the due diligence and listen like I want to create the notes and really get into the bands as much. So it's just going to take me a little longer. But hopefully he's getting better, and hopefully that will work itself out, and he will be home hopefully soon, and then I can just kind of go back to doing what I do up here weekly. So, but until then, I might even have to work from down there for a month or 2 to help him out, I'm guessing. So, but that's not a problem because I'll have plenty of time because Kelly will be up here and I'll be down there. I'll have plenty of time to listen to stuff, and I should still be able to do a podcast once a week. So it shouldn't be a problem. So even that. So, but until that happens, I'm kind of in this middle ground here where all I can do is go down and spend a bunch of time to, visit with them at the rehab center. So, but it is what it is. So we're getting through it.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I wish we were a little more consistent. Maybe that hurts our listeners, but hopefully everybody enjoys this one. Really solid band.
Absolutely.
So
really like Volbeat again. I'm glad they're in a good place with me because again, I just there's been times where I've been done with them, and there's just too many bands out to waste time on that, right? It's it's why we don't listen a lot to bands that we loved in the 80s that just are, like you said, your word, regurgitating, right? It just feels like they're just putting something out just to do it. It doesn't feel like it's got a lot of heart to it or anything creative. It just feels like paint by numbers, and it's not even the good paint by numbers,
No. And there's lots of new bands out there, so it's hard to, there's a lot of competition for your time to listen to new stuff. So when a band falls off, it's kind of hard for them to get themselves back into your conscience again, because you're listening to other new stuff and you're like, wow, I really like this band, and hey, Testament just came out with a new album, that's fantastic. It kind of pushes it away, and it's hard for them to get back in there. So I'm glad this one kind of came back. So really,
absolutely. All right, partner. Well, good luck with everything down south with your pops, and thank you, everybody. Again, nobody's listening right now, but if you catch us on the replay, thank you for sticking in with us, and leave your comments below. What was your favorite Volbeat album? What did you like? What don't you like? Do you dislike the regurgitation?
Call us clowns
like we do. Let us know in the comments. But thank you, everybody, for listening once again. And the two Bobs will see you in the next one.
Rock on.
Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
What would you say you do here?
God damn it. Bob, we love playing here tonight. My brother's ready.
It helps if you think of it as a game, Bob. Every game has a winner and a loser.
You must possess strength to inflict pain, Bob.